Hi, hi. I am Dr. Claiborne, Dr. Maisha. You all know me. And we are live again today as we are talking about, we have been talking about belief change, and we were talking about state change earlier this week. And so I promised you that today I would guide you through a little exercise on how you can access a new state anytime you need to by creating something called an anchor. And so before I jump in, you all know who I am, Dr. Maisha, your mind remapping coach, NLP master practitioner, and hypnosis trainer. And so, what I love doing is teaching you all the principles and the language of the unconscious mind so you can dismantle the invisible influences and be at the source of your thoughts, feelings, and actions so you can create new results in your life. So if you're here with me live today, say hi. I love feedback. And if you're hitting me on replay, hashtag replay, so I know that you came through. Remember we talked about earlier this week, when we're able to access our internal state, it puts us at the source of what to do next. And so today is the day that we kind of learn what to do next. In the last episode, we went through an exercise of taking inventory to your state. We talked about the physiological. We went through the sensory and the submodalities, as we call it, and then the emotional. And I guided you through the exercise to actually do that. And so today we're going to utilize that. This is important. And this is why I do these. We sort of build on principles, right? We've been building for a couple of months now on principles. So today I'm going to take you through a short and quick exercise that guides you into accessing and stepping into a new positive state. Now, one of your homework from the last couple of episodes, was to pick a new and empowering state that you want to be in, whether it's motivation or whether there's a belief that you want to step into. It's great when it's associated with a feeling and a particular internal state. So for this, before we jump into the exercise, I'm going to give you a little bit of ground rules here. So you'll need a place where you can move around, not an extremely big place, because you can see I am in a place where there's immediate space in front of me. It doesn't need to be a whole big place, but you want to have some space that you can step into. You also want this to be a place where it's maybe has a sense of sacredness to it. So you don't want to be like a doorway that you walk through all the time, or else you water down or diffuse the anchor. All right. And we're going to talk a little bit about more of what the anchor is, or what an anchor is, in just a moment here. So maybe it's a corner of a room. Maybe it's a particular space in your bedroom. Just pick a place where it's a sort of a sacred space for you to step into whenever you want to access this state. Okay. Now, let me just explain a little bit about what an anchor is for a moment. If you've ever studied any type of psychology, behavioral psychology, you may have heard of Pavlov's experiment. And basically, Pavlov had these dogs, and of course, every day at the same time, he would feed the dogs. And before he would feed the dogs, he'd ring the bell to know that for the dogs to know that it was time to come eat. So every day at the same time, he'd ring the bell, the dogs would come eat, and they'd begin, they'd come, they'd be salivating for the meat, and he'd feed the dogs. So, and this is a very nutshell version, by the way, of this experiment, just for lack of time. So then what Pavlov decided to do was to really test to see if he could associate an anchor, like the bell, with the thought of eating food, or the experience of eating food. And he wondered, if you took away the food and just rung the bell, or if you just rung the bell, would it produce the same physiological response? And sure enough, it did. So Pavlov would ring the bell, and dogs would come running and salivate, and there'd be no food, but the dogs would still be salivating and ready for the food. So that is considered an anchor. So when I say anchor, it really is a trigger, something that you activate, a trigger that activates a particular response, kind of like Pavlov did with his dogs. And so that's why you want to pick a place. Sometimes triggers can be physiological spaces, anchors can be physiological spaces. They could be word thoughts in your mind. They could be places on your body. You know, some people use physical anchors on your body. Um, and they can, and again, they can be physical spaces, like when you sit in a particular chair or you walk into a particular corner of the room. And that is why, you know, people who tend to have meditation spaces, sometimes they walk into that space and it helps them to feel calm because it is an anchor. So if you have a sacred space like that, then you want to choose that so that you can be very deliberate about activating or triggering the anchor when you need it. Okay? So now, first, what I want you to do, so we're going to go ahead and jump into the exercise right now. Okay? So the first thing I want you to do is pick a state that you want to step into. All right? And ideally, this is a positive state. So if you want, if it's motivated, or if it's excited, if it's happy, whatever it is, pick a state, an internal state that you want to step into. So if it's empowered, um, whatever that state is that you, or maybe it's focused, maybe it's like completely focused, right? What is that positive resource that you want to step into? And you should have already chosen it by now, but if you have not, then go ahead and choose that state. All right. And so I'm going to use as an example, focused. All right. I'm going to choose focused as an example. And I'm just choosing because I'm an entrepreneur. And when I'm focused, I get stuff done. So I'm going to use the word focused, but you will use whatever word that you are of the state that you're choosing. So choose it, and it does need to be, one word, a state of focus or a state of excitement or a state of motivation, or a state of empowerment, right? Could be calm and relaxed, right? State of calm, state of relaxation, state of peace. So these are different states that you can choose to step into. So choose one of those states right now, all right? Now, the next thing I want you to do is to pick a physical location or a physical anchor, spatially speaking. All right. So right here in the front here, that's going to be mine. So when you see me, when I step into it, you're going to see this is the physiological, and it's, space on the floor. So pick a space, and you're not going to step into that space just yet. All right. So now with the state, what I want you to do is I want you, if you can think of a time, you're going to recall the state that you want to step into. So I'm going to think of a time when I felt totally focused. And for you, if it's peace, if it's motivation, if it's excitement, if it's calm and relaxed, you think of a time where you felt so totally focused or calm and relaxed or motivated or whatever that state is for you. Recall that state. Think of a time. And when I say a time, a specific time. Go ahead and think of that time right now. Go ahead and think of that time right now. Recall a specific time where you felt completely and totally, in that state, motivated, happy, excited, peace of mind, calm, relaxed, focused. Just remember that time. Okay. And you have a time. And when you think of that time, do you have a picture of that? When you think of that time, do you have a picture? So now what you're going to do is you're going to see what you saw. You're going to feel what you felt. And you're going to hear what you heard. You're going to feel all the feelings that you felt when you felt you completely in that state, motivated or focused or calm or relaxed or peaceful. You're gonna just recall that state and completely get yourself into that state. What are the things that you see? What are the things that you hear around you? What are the emotions? What are the feelings in your body, the kinesthetics that you feel? Now remember, this is the exercise, the inventory exercise. So now you're going to access all of that. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you feeling? What emotions are you experiencing? What thoughts are going through your head as you're totally in this positive state? right? You're totally in this positive state of feeling happy or excited or empowered or motivated or focused, okay? Now, I want you to step inside of your spot. Step inside of your spot and as you're feeling that, right? And just completely ramp up the feeling of feeling that state. Ramp it up, okay? So that it's the most real feeling. Just feel all the emotions, all of the, see what you saw, hear what you heard, and feel the feelings that you felt when you were totally in this positive state. I'll let you do that right now. Okay. Now, as you're feeling, as you're in this state, as you're feeling all the things, seeing and you're experiencing this positive state, what I now want you to do is I want you to pick a visual cue, or pick a word in your mind. It could be a mantra, or even pick an auditory sound that you're going to associate with this state. Maybe it's a word that you say to yourself. As a matter of fact, let's go with that. Pick a word that you say to yourself while you're in this state. And just go ahead and pick that word now. Go ahead and pick that word right now as you're in that time, as you're in that positive state, as you're seeing what you're seeing and hearing what you're hearing and feeling all the feelings that you're feeling, and you're in that space. Go ahead and pick a pick a word, a mantra, as a cue, as a thought cue. Go ahead and say that word out loud. All right? Say that word out loud to yourself as a cue. All right? Very good. Now, go ahead and step out of the spot. Shake it off. Just shake it off, shake it off, shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. Now we're going to test it. All right? So whatever that space was, you're going to step into the space and use your word, your thought cue, your word cue, and see if that feeling arises in you. All right? See if that feeling arises in you. All right? Now have you step out of the space, shake it off, and you can repeat this process as necessary. So I'm going to go through it one more time with you. Let's go ahead and repeat it one time. All right? So your state, same state, let's do the same state because this is called stacking. We want to stack this up, all right? And to make it the most powerful anchor, we want to stack it up. So the same state, and if you could think of a time, go ahead and think of a time when you felt completely in that state, like 100%. It was so real for you. It was so extremely, motivating or peaceful or calm or focused or happy, excited, whatever that state was that you just did. Think of a time. It could be another time or it could be the same time, but think of a time where you felt that. Access it. Okay? Go ahead and step into your spot and go ahead and think of that time. See what you saw, hear what you heard, and feel the feelings that you felt when you were totally in that state, calm or relaxed or focused or peaceful or motivated. Think of like all of those things. Access it. Allow all the images to become brighter and just to really allow yourself to fully immerse yourself in that experience. Okay. Now, remember the word that you chose to be your anchor, your word anchor. Go ahead and say that word again out loud to yourself. All right. And then you could step out, shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. Okay. All right. And then now I want you again to test it out. Step back into your space and see if that state arises in you. All right. Now, the whole, the key to this exercise is when you are bringing up the state, when you're starting and you're recalling the state, that you feel totally immersed in it. Right? You really feel like you're in it. And then you use your cue, your word, right? And and then you go ahead and at the height of it, just when you feel that state starting to weighing down, you can go ahead and step out and shake it off, right? Then step back in and repeat the exercise. And at the height of that experience that you're just as it's starting to fall off, you step out of it. This is how you're creating the anchor. All right. And then you can step in and test it. And what you should experience is this: when you step into the space and you say your word, that it should arise that emotion or that state in you. Okay. So you can repeat this as many times as you want to. You can go back and look at the video again. There are lots of other ways to anchor states. This is just one, right? You can actually do this with beliefs. You can chain beliefs together. You can stack positive states, different positive states, so that it goes very deep. You can install anchors on your physical body. You can install visual anchors, audio anchors, all kinds of anchors. This is, just one exercise that you can do, okay? And sometimes it's easier to do it with someone else, like a professional, but by and large, many times this is something that you can actually do on your own. It's something that happens. You're anchoring all the time, so it's something that you can learn to do on your own. Okay, so your homework is to practice this exercise. If you didn't get to do it with me live today, and then do it on replay. And go and step into a positive state. Now remember, it needs to be a positive state. Put this anchor in your home, in your office. So you do this if you want to access this state at home. If you want to access it at home and in the office, put one in your office as well, or in your place of work. Remember the word, choose the word, use the same word, and use a word that's unique enough to where that whenever you say it enough, and you'll remember the word, but it's not so common that you're saying it every other moment, so you don't water down the anchor. Okay. So, and by the way, these are some of the techniques that I use and teach, use with my clients and teach with my students on how to get in the driver's seat of your mind, your thoughts, your emotions, so that you can live your very best life. Okay. So I would love for you to tell me how it went. Type in the comments. Let me know if you did the exercise, how it went. What positive state did you access? What is the positive state that you accessed? And of course, if you feel like you want to go deeper, now anchoring is a quick fix. Anchoring is one of those quick fix to access a positive state at any given time. But it does take some deeper work. If you find that your anchor is washing out very quickly, then you may need some deeper work, okay? So if you want to go deeper and you want to learn more for yourself, more about yourself, and you want to learn these skills to help yourself and maybe possibly others, then you can go to drmyisha.com. You can register for a free training, Remap Your Mind for Success, and you begin to really understand how the unconscious mind works. A free training. Also, of course, if you feel you need more personalized experience, personalized work, then you can schedule a mind remapping call with me right from the homepage of the website. Going to be debuting a new website soon. I can't wait to tell you all about it in the probably next week or so, and it'll feature some upcoming trainings that we have. So remember to go back, listen to this again, and do this exercise. Anchor a positive state, okay? Anchor a positive state. Take yourself from, procrastination to motivation. Take yourself from feeling lethargic to feeling energized. Make sure the positive state that you take yourself into, though, is definitely ecological, meaning it works for the context that you need it to work for, okay? So that's one thing that I do want to say. And remember, again, if you need more personalized work, you can always reach out to me. All right. So I look forward to hearing what you all experienced in this exercise, and we will begin some new and different exciting work starting over the next couple of weeks. Okay. You guys have a great rest of the day and a great rest of the week. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you on the next live stream. Namaste.